Hey guys, it's Daphne, and I want to welcome you to my latest episode of This Is How I Saw It. It has been a little bit since I've done one of these, but with the Niners being out of the playoffs and into the offseason, I've just kind of not been too pressed about doing one of these, but I'm going to get back into it, and I'll try to do something like this maybe once a week, depending on what's happening with the team and in the league, and try to do my best to just do one of these about once a week. So what I'm doing today or this week is, since the entire NFC West has been eliminated from postseason with the Rams beating the Seahawks last week and then the Rams losing to the Buccaneers this week, I thought it was a good time to take a look at where the teams are as we start the 2021 offseason in the NFC West. So just a little bit of information, a couple of little bits of little tidbits of information to pass along as well as I go through these. But I think just some helpful information to get us started for the off season. So the first snapshot that we're going to take a look at, obviously, is the Arizona Cardinals. It's looking like that based on a $175 million cap space, that the Cardinals will have $6 million in cap space. That's after all of the players that they currently have signed. And they're going to have 29 free agents. Now, the Niners have more than 29 free agents, and people thought, that was a lot, or they think that that's a lot, but the Cardinals still have 29 free agents and only $6 million in cap space at the moment. So it's going to be really challenging for them to, get things in line like it is for all other teams. But this is definitely going to be a challenge. They've got 29 free agents. Notable free agents: Patrick Peterson, which is their top corner. They've got Larry Fitzgerald, who's 38 years old right now, and it may be time to hang it up, but based on the information that I saw on the Cardinals website, they're going to give him the time that he needs to decide whether or not he's going to come back. But at this point, he is still a free agent and could still return next season. Not sure how that's going to work out, but we'll see how that goes. It looks like the Cardinals are going to have 6 draft picks. They do have a first-round draft pick, so we don't know what they're going to do with that, but maybe that's something that I can take a look at later. And we'll see what happens there, but this is where they are as far as the start of the 2021 offseason. They haven't really had any coaching changes thus far. I think there may be some internal shakeup, but I don't think they're losing anyone. I'm not sure. There's some talk I saw on their website, the Arizona Cardinals website, that Kingsbury may give up play calling, but he says that that's what he likes to do and he likes to engage with the quarterback. So we'll see how that shakes out depending on how their internal changes come about. So that's the snapshot of the Arizona Cardinals starting off the 2021 offseason. Okay, so next snapshot that we're going to take a look at is the LA Rams. And this is where things start to get a little bit interesting in the NFC West. So as you can see, the Rams have 0 in cap space. So if the league stays with $175 million in cap space, the Rams have no money. In fact, they would be $22 million over the cap. They have no money. No money. They have 17 free agents. I don't even know who the free agents are. I just, I don't even know how they're going to pay or retain a potential 17 free agents. They're not going to be able to keep all of them, obviously, especially with no money. But we'll see how that works out, because that's just crazy. And we also see that they do have 6 draft picks, but interestingly enough, they do not have a first-round draft pick, because in 2019, they traded for Jalen Ramsey. They traded away their 2021 first-round draft pick. So this is what happens when you trade away your future. You don't get a first-round draft pick. So it's going to be interesting in LA to see what happens. And just another 2 pieces to note. The Rams lost their defensive coordinator, Staley, to the LA Chargers head coaching position. So they're going to need a defensive coordinator. And as well of note, Sean McVay is quoted, and you can find this on the Rams website and any media. When asked about Jared Goff, he said that he's the quarterback right now, and obviously they're evaluating all positions. But some people think there's controversy. I'm not going to get into any of the controversy part of it, just stating what he said. Nothing else, nothing more. But that is the snapshot for the LA Rams as we go and start the 2021 offseason for the NFC West. So now we are moving on to the snapshot for our favorite NFC West rival, the Seattle Seahawks. Don't we just love them? I mean, I just love them. So anyhow, taking a look at the Seahawks, they would have about $5 million in cap space. Interesting. 30 free agents. 30 free agents. Again, that's going to be a challenge for anyone. And they've got 5 draft picks. But interestingly enough, just like the LA Rams, they do not have a first-round draft pick because they traded for Jamal Adams from the Jets. So the Jets have the Seahawks first-round draft pick. So now they've mortgaged their future. They don't have a first-round draft pick. They have less than $10 million in cap space, and they've got 30 free agents. What the heck? I mean, it's going to be weird. It's going to be a crazy offseason because that's not good. A couple of things to note so far in the offseason. The Seahawks let go their offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer. And there's talk that Adam Gase may be a potential replacement as offseason. That Adam Gase may be a potential replacement as offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. Now, we know that Adam Gase just got fired from being the Jets head coach, who I think he only won like 5 games in the 2 years that he was there. And the owner of the Jets called him an offensive guru. So let's just think about that for a quick second. And okay. I'm sure that every team in the NFC West wants Adam Gase to be the Seahawks coordinator because that's guaranteed 2 wins for each team. Pretty much. I mean, Pete Carroll is still the head coach, but that's not going to work out for them. But hey, you know what? That's their choice. And maybe we're just not giving Adam Gase a chance. So you know what? If the Seahawks want to bring him in, that's awesome. Let them do that. And you know, maybe it works out better than we know. You know, maybe he's just not a good head coach, but maybe he can handle handling just the offense. So, you know, we'll definitely see. Another tidbit just to pass along about the Seahawks. Pete Carroll did say that they were passing the ball too much and that they needed to run more. So I'm looking at the Seahawks really, obviously he said they're going to run more in 2021. So we'll look for that in who they pick in the draft and, you know, the free agents that they retain and things like that. So that's just a little nugget coming directly from Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. And finally, the last but definitely not the least is the snapshot for the San Francisco 49ers. So as we see here, based on the $175 million cap space, the Niners would be looking at about $14 million in available cap space. That's actually more than the Cardinals and the Seahawks combined because, you know, LA doesn't have any cap space right now. So we actually have more than the rest of the entire NFC West. The only thing is that we've got 40 free agents. 40. This is a daunting task. And I don't know who's doing the math. I think his name is Parag. So, you know, Kyle and John mentioned that they want to definitely try to keep the core together. And, you know, they mentioned that in their off-season final press conference to end the 2020 season and to start off 2021, that they want to keep the core together. And it's going to be a challenge. So, you know, that's a lot. I mean, we've got more free agents than the rest of the any individual team in the NFC West. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just going to be a challenge all across the board. But the good thing is that we have at least 8 draft picks. We are picking number 12. We are actually picking 4 spots ahead of the Arizona Cardinals in the first round. And remember, LA and the Seahawks do not have first round draft picks. So we're easily, you know, we're positioned well in the draft to do very well. So we're going to need those draft picks. Hopefully we're not in the business of trading those and mortgaging our future because we're going to need to fill some holes because there's no way to keep 40 free agents. Not going to happen. Let's just be real. But I'll take a look at that later on in another episode about the free agents that we do have and the ones that could be critical. A couple of things of note. Obviously, we all know that Robert Saleh got hired as the head coach of the New York Jets, and he is taking a couple of offensive pieces with him to start his new regime in New York, which is fine. We are keeping or rehiring the quarterback coach that started with us a couple of years ago with Kyle and John. So he's coming back, Rich Scarangella, and which is a good thing. So we like that. But that's the snapshot for the 49ers starting off the 2021 season. And I think that's going to be it as far as individual snapshots. So that's what the 49ers are looking like as we start 2021.